Hello, how are you today? As I mentioned yesterday, today we have a recorded class and I'm gonna go over these slides and explain you your um, presentation that you're gonna have next week, okay? So last class we were talking about types of speech. We talked about persuasive speech when you try to convince and change people's beliefs. We have informative speech when you bring information, when you teach, when you inform people, as informative speech says. We also talked about special events speeches like wedding speech or a toast or baptism, eulogy, it's a funeral or a graduation. So those are special events speeches, and that they all have their characteristics. If you missed class yesterday, so please watch the recording from yesterday so you can catch up, okay, and be ready to present next week as well, okay? So how to prepare your speech. So you're going to present a speech next week. You're going to start presenting and you're going to choose a topic of your interest. Remember that we had our icebreaker speech and that it would be a good idea to choose a topic that you think it will interest your classmates. They're going to learn something from it that's going to be useful and they're going to be engaged on your topic, okay? Choose a topic that you master, right? So not something that you have to research and you have to learn everything about it. So choose something that you know very well and you want to share with this audience. Remember, don't use jargon, difficult words. If you have difficult words, you explain. If you're presenting a slide, you have photos, you explain the topics, but you are the most important person. We've seen several examples yesterday. None of them had slides. All of them had notes. They didn't read the notes, but for sure you could notice they had practiced a lot. So that's what you are supposed to do. Okay, so practice a lot and think about questions people would have if people don't know the topic you are talking about. Okay, choose a topic that interests your audience. Don't script it. Script it is there. You go and read and you go and you read and you read, you read. Don't script it, okay? Use bullet points. And if you're talking about something specific, technical, I would do a slide so I could explain, but you can also go to sites and you can show that, okay? And the most important thing, practice, practice, and practice. You're going to have several examples in the course, in the Canvas course. You're going to have an example and you're also going to be given an outline to help you prepare your speech. Okay, I'm looking forward to your speech. So let's go here to the next page. Okay, so informative speech, key points. Okay, so when choosing a subject of an informative speech, consider whether you want to describe, explain, demonstrate, or educate the audience about the topic. Okay, so these aspects are very important. What do you wanna do? Do you want to inform the people about? Do you want to describe? Do you want to explain? Do you want to demonstrate? Or do you want to educate? Okay, so that's the first thing that you're going to decide about your speech. Okay, so then the subject of an informative speech should be one that can be communicated clearly to an audience. One of the things about the speeches that you saw yesterday, you said, oh, it was so clear and it was so easy to understand. It should be clear. You're going to have about 7 minutes to present your speech. Okay, so when choosing this subject for an informative speech, consider what is the essential information. So what is the essential information that an audience should know about that subject? Okay, so those are some of the points that you should think when you are delivering or preparing your speech. Okay, so let me move here. as I mentioned many times, words have power. Yesterday we watched the speech by Leonardo DiCaprio, and the words that he chose and how he spoke made a huge difference. And his speech was very short, 3 minutes, okay? And it was a persuasive speech, okay? So when we are talking about a speech, you have this that comes from the Greek, okay? This is an old thing from the Greek, okay? So a speech, persuasive speech, has two things that are important, okay? You need ethos, which is credibility. You need pathos. You deal with the emotion of the people who are watching you. And you need logic. It has to make sense. So ethos, pathos, and logos. These are Greek words, okay? So winning over the audience. So that's using the persuasive language. Okay, so logos provides facts that are true, use real life experiences, examples, use reasoning. It's very strong when you can talk about something scientific, but you also bring some experience from your life. Pathos, that's an emotional appeal. Convince the reader or the audience to have an emotional response. Often used in advertising, and that's the kind of language that they use in advertising. And politicians was also like those. Okay, ethos, credibility. You see, the both speeches that you had yesterday, the girl about the cell phone and the Leonardo DiCaprio, they had very good credibility. They cited important sources. Okay, so convince the people who are listening to you or reading, if you're writing, one's authority on the subject. Establish respect with the audience. Use strong language. Keep the argument simple and to the point. So that's what Nancy was saying yesterday about DiCaprio's speech. The DiCaprio's speech was straight to the point. Okay, so it was very simple. Okay, so ethos. Okay, so use that, please. Parts of a persuasive speech. As I said yesterday, you need a claim. Okay, you can be clear and say this is a persuasive speech, or you can give your speech and people, oh, this is a persuasive speech, this is an informative speech. Okay, but you need a claim, you need a thesis. So we had the girl talking about the cell phone yesterday. Her main thesis was, if you use cell phone over and over again along the years, you're gonna have brain cancer. So that was her thesis. You're gonna have brain cancer if you use your cell phone over and over again, because the cell phone is very close to your brain. Okay, then you have arguments about that. She had several arguments, then she had reasons, and then she had evidence. Okay, so she had thesis, she had her thesis, she had her evidence, and then she had reasons, she had argument, and then she had an evidence. Okay, so those are the parts of a persuasive speech if you choose so. Okay, so when I have here, I say thesis, the statement someone is trying to prove an argument. So that's a very strong point that you want to make, and you want to prove an argument. Okay, so that is the thesis. Okay, so if you use a cell phone over and over again, you are going to have a brain cancer. Okay, and she not even said you may have, she stated you will have, and then she was defending that idea. Argument, the reasons and evidence provided to prove a claim. Okay, so you have a claim, and how are you going to prove that? So you go back there, and I'm going to add it to the link of this video here, down here. You can go also to the link of the girl, the high school girl, and the DiCaprio's and all the other examples that I gave yesterday. reasons. So you have statements that tell why the claim is true. So for her, that was absolutely true, and she was defending her idea. Evidence. Facts are information. So she had flashcards with information, with sources, to say that her statement was valid, okay, that her statement was true and it was valid, okay. And counter argument, facts you use to show that the opposing argument is not valid. So you usually show them that you know some of the good things, but you are counter argument with those ideas, okay. So, and that was very clear in her speech yesterday. So go back there and read. And when you say sources, resources, sources, Wikipedia is not a source, okay? So according to the New York Journal, according to CBN, according to the university, according to Harvard. So something that is very reliable, okay? How to? State your opinion at the beginning. Okay, so say your opinion at the beginning. So state your opinion at the beginning. Support your opinion with arguments. Okay, support your opinion with arguments and use evidences to support. So evidences support your argument. Okay, so that's how you are going to do it. So you state your opinion right away. It's your claim, your thesis, support your opinion with lots of three arguments, and use evidences to support. So those are the sources that you are going to cite. This is the how-to, okay? So for example, so here we have an example. So in my opinion, there is no doubt that mammals should not be kept in captivity. They are part of nature and should not be bought, sold, or thrown in an aquarium. I believe they have the right to be kept in natural environment. So I believe they have the right to be kept in their natural environment. So that's the opinion. You can start the opinion at the beginning here of your claim, or like here she inverted, or he, and it's at the end of the claim. Argument number one, I have many reasons to support my opinion. Captivity causes many health problems. So that's her first argument. Captivity causes many health problems. Okay, so captivity, to have in a cage, mammals. Okay, so those are like whales, dolphins that are kept in an aquarium and everything. So captivity causes many health problems. Evidence. Many tanks have water full of mineral and bacteria. This results in blindness and skin problems. Marine mammals die from pneumonia, so they die from pneumonia, ulcer, and other stress-related diseases, okay? So these are the evidence. So the argument, and then you support with evidence, okay? Then if you go further, so this is the thesis here. And then if you go here, opposing argument. Many people think that marine mammals should be kept in captivity. So this person is showing that she thought, or he thought, about the other side too. I realize that some people may believe that captivity increases lifespan and so captivity increases the lifespan of certain animals. However, the reality is different. Okay, high level word here. However, the reality is different. Okay, so an opposing argument posed by the very person and the counter argument. Captivity shortens animal lifespan, not increases them. Okay, so shorten animal lifespan. Wild dolphins can live 40 years in the wild, and orcas can live 90 years in the wild. But when held in captivity, they rarely survive their teens. Okay, so that's a counter argument. Okay, just to show that this person thought both ways. Okay. just in case, okay? And then you have the conclusion. So the conclusion, what you have to do, you have to reinstate what you said in your thesis and then you have a call for an action. Remember that you're dealing with emotion, so you have a call for an action. In conclusion, I think marine mammals should definitely not be held in captivity. It's up to us to let these beautiful marine mammals free. Okay, so she's restating the beginning of her thesis, right? And then here in conclusion, it's up to you, call for action. So making you feel guilty, okay? So I believe that, okay? So that's how you would write persuasive speech, okay? So are you ready? So let's see here what I have next. For information now, or informative speech, I have this outline that helps you. I have outline for both, but here, this one is gonna help you, okay? So let me make a little bit larger here so you can read, okay? In general, there are 3 parts to an informative speech, okay? So there are 3 parts to an informative speech outline. They are the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay, just like its name, the introduction is about how you can grab the audience's attention through your first words. Remember we had Irma, how impactful her first words. Like if you choose, you're gonna be more successful if you choose the right people. Okay, so that way you have to present your statement and at the same time try to establish credibility. Also, you have to give a sneak peek at what you're going to say in the immediate future, like just giving an idea while transitioning to enter to the main topic. Okay, so it's divided in 3. So the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay, and this is going to be the outline, which is the draft. So don't start like, oh, I'm just going to give my speech. No, a speech, informative or persuasive speech, you should have an outline to get to organize your ideas. Okay, so first you're going to have the attention getter, which is the introduction. So how are you going to introduce your speech? Then you have some background information. So what's the background information that you're going to add? And then the sources. What are the sources that you're going to cite in your information? Especially for an informative speech, you should have lots of sources to support your idea. Okay, what's your thesis? Do you have a thesis? What is the main points introduction that you're gonna have? Just 1, 2, 3. The development, do you have sub points for that? And the conclusion. In the conclusion, again, like in the persuasive speech, you're going to restate your thesis, review the main points, and memorable closer too. So you can do kind of a summary or recap of that. Okay, so this is the outline that you have to prepare your speech next week. This is the outline that you have for your persuasive speech. Okay, so here, so attention getter, thesis, statement, positions, reasons, transition, how you're going to transition, and here are your notes. Okay, so your topic sentence for each of your statements, your arguments. Okay, reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, and then here you have your notes. Okay, counter argument, like how are you going to do the counter argument? And then go back to that example that we were talking about memos, and we always go from something that we already know. It's not copying. We go there and see, oh, that's how they did, and I'm gonna use the same idea to write mine, but my own ideas. Okay, and the conclusion, restate the thesis and call to action. Okay, so that's how you prepare. Okay, questions to consider in both ways, right? Does your evidence come from reputable sources? Okay, like I said, not a Wikipedia. Okay, are you using nonverbal communication effectively when you are presenting? tone, attitude, volume, hand gestures, and movement. Okay, so think about it. And are you connecting with the audience and using visual effects? Okay, it's much difficult to hold the attention of people if you don't have anything visual to show. Okay, and because you're going to be informing or persuading about something, and it's hard to get the attention of people. Okay, so where can you find your material? Okay, so here is the week 5 and 6 persuasive and informative speech. Okay, if you scroll down, so this is what we had to do for pre-class activity, and here I have in class. So last week and yesterday I finished here parts of a speech. Okay, and then I have here this link, informative speech key points. So that's an extra source that you can come and check. I'm gonna add here, as soon as I finish this video, I'm gonna add here the activity for this video. I'm gonna add this video and the activity you have to submit to let me know that you watched this class that we are now having on this Wednesday. Okay, here, if you click here, you have a great example of information of speech. That's a great one. Here is your outline if you decide to do an informative speech or if you decide to do a persuasive speech. So when you click here, you're going to be prompted to make a copy. So you click here, make a copy, and then you're going to have the copy of the speech for you. Okay, so you click here, wait a little bit, and then you just make a copy. Okay, so going back here, so you go to modules and then week 5 and 6, and that's where in class you have the information. Okay, I'm gonna actually move this informative speech and persuasive speech for post-class activity, because that's where you're going to start outlining your speech. You're going to start presenting next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to raffle the names and I'm going to let you know this weekend or Thursday. By Friday, I'll let you know who is presenting. But be prepared to present. You're going to present a speech. You choose a topic, can be either informative or persuasive speech, and you have 7 minutes, which is a lot. You have 7 minutes to present your speech. Okay, you can present with a slide, or if you choose not to present with a slide, you present without a slide, as long as you make the information clear for students to understand. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry that I'm not in class today. I hope this information was useful, and I'm gonna see you next week, and I'm looking forward to your presentations. If you have any questions, please contact me via inbox or text message me in my Google Voice. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.